might be seeing some news out there on Fox, the Washington Free Beacon. Have you heard about this over at Cal Davis? Pro-Palestinian students heckle Cal Davis opponents with cries of Allah Akbar. Have you heard about this, Jody? That's big. Anti-Israeli activists at the University of California, Davis, heckled Jewish students and shouted Allah Akbar at them during a vote last week on a resolution endorsing a boycott of the Jewish state, according to a video of the event obtained by the Washington Free Beacon. Activists waving Palestinian flags shouted at Jewish and pro-Israel students as they left a meeting room ahead of the 8-2 vote in favor of the divestment resolution. Now, what is a divestment resolution? Well, the divestment resolution, it erupted. This all began late Thursday. Well, it began a long time ago. But all this commotion on the Cal Davis campus erupted late Thursday as pro-Israel students attempted to counter a student government resolution to divest from Israel as part of the boycott, divestment, and sanctions movement, also known as the BDS movement. Activists waving Palestinian flags shouted at Jewish and pro-Israel students as they left the meeting room ahead of the 8-2 vote in favor of the divestment resolution. And that is part of a larger movement by anti-Israeli groups to attack Israel and pro-Israel students on campus. Large group of activists shouted Allah Akbar in unison as pro-Israeli students filed out of UC Davis's meeting room, according to video obtained by a member of Aggies for Israel, a pro-Israel student group at Davis. Following the vote, which was championed by a group called Students for Justice in Palestine, unknown vandals spray-painted swastikas on fraternity houses belonging to Jewish organizations. This is all happening in the United States. Now, do you want to know who supports the ADP movement and is also called for a boycott of the Israeli state and of Israeli Jewish professors as part of the BDS movement? Can anyone take a guess? Angela Davis, who will be speaking over at Texas Tech next week. Now, I'm telling you, this is a crowd that I'm sure Texas Tech would be proud of, right? All you have to do is get online and Google Angela Davis BDS movement, and she is all about it. She just loves that movement. She wants to boycott Israel. She wants to blacklist Jewish professors. Now that is something that tells me about diversity. When you want to ban professors just because of their religion, that's diverse. I am so glad that Angela Davis, who will be speaking over at Texas Tech and getting paid $12,000 to do so, I am so glad she is so about diversity. That she wants to ban Jewish professors. Man, I'm telling you, this is someone who Tech should absolutely embrace. A member of the UC, are you ready for this? A member of the UC Davis Student Senate posted on her Facebook page a triumphant message following the vote saying, Hamas and Sharia law have taken over UC Davis. Angela Davis once wrote a piece Back in 2012, dismissal of the Palestinians, basically what America and Israel have done to the Palestinians, is reminiscent of the Jim Crow days. She wrote, according to different analysis out there, she's right there with them. And there was actually, when she spoke over at UC Santa Cruz, the Jewish community over at UC Santa Cruz heavily protested Angela Davis for her role in not only the BDS movement, but also wanting to boycott Israel and boycott the academics from Israel. Of course, she also wants an economic boycott of Israel as well. 770-5790, toll-free, 1-800-687-0790. I just thought that was an interesting connection there between what happened last week over at Cal Berkeley and the speaker that will be coming to Texas Tech to speak about African American History Month. And Texas Tech paying her $12,000. Some people are worth $12,000. Some people aren't. I'd throw Angela Davis into the not worth $12,000 to speak at the Texas Tech campus. 770-5790, toll free, 1-800-687-0790. As we continue to educate folks out there on Angela Davis, Texas Tech keeps hearing from you, which is good. It's a good thing. We're just helping to get information out about Angela Davis, so that way you can tell people about Angela Davis, who will be speaking at Tech. And will be given $12,000. This is what she had to say about Palestine just recently. She was giving a speech. She said, so now we're confronted with the task of assisting our sisters and brothers in Palestine as they battle against Israeli apartheid. Their struggles, Palestinians, have many similarities with those against South African apartheid. One of the most salient in being the ideological condemnation of their freedom efforts under the rubric of terrorism. So see, Palestinians, there are no terrorists. That's been made up by the Jewish state and by the United States, according to Angela Davis. It's just all made up. Instead, it's just a bunch of Israelis who treat Palestinians just horribly. She told this group, I understand that evidence being made available that indicates a historic collaboration between the CIA, and we knew the CIA collaborated with South African apartheid regime, but it appears the CIA agent who gave South African authorities the location of Nelson Mandela's whereabouts 1962 led directly to his capture and imprisonment. Wasn't until the year 2008, that's like 5 years ago, that his name was taken off the terror watch list when George W. Bush, maybe you can remember him, finally moved. The point I'm making is that for a very long time, he and his comrades share the same status as numerous Palestinians today in the U.S., collaborating with the South African apartheid government. It supported and continues to support the Israeli occupation of Palestine. The occupation would not be possible without the collaboration of the U.S. government, and that's a message we need to send to Barack Obama. She said this evening's gathering specifically focuses on the importance of expanding the BDS movement, the boycott, divestment, and sanctions movement, which has been crafted in accordance of the powerful movement of the anti-apartheid movement with respect to South Africa. So she wants to expand it, and it was expanded over at Cal Berkeley when you had students at Cal Berkeley chanting Allah Akbar at Israeli students and pro-Israel students. Angela Davis supports that. She supports boycotting the Israeli state. She supports boycotting and banning Jewish professors. It's all out there. But you have to do research to find it. You have to look for it. And how many students over at Texas Tech University do you think will do that? Instead, they'll just buy in that this woman is being invited because she has this great and grand history with the African American movement in the United States, or some movement, I don't know. But that she was right there with MLK. When personally, never knew MLK, but I'm pretty sure Martin Luther King Jr. would not want a lot to do with this woman. I don't think Martin Luther King Jr. would appreciate a woman who had bought guns that were used in a crime that killed a judge. I don't think he would have approved of that. I don't think he'd be anti-Israel. Just taking a wild guess. But see, what Texas Tech students will learn and what they will be told by Texas Tech is that Angela Davis, she's some big figure that should be celebrated, because that's what Texas Tech is saying. When you bring in a speaker, they are to be celebrated. They are given a stature. They're given a pulpit. Texas Tech wouldn't bring in Charlie Manson. Texas Tech wouldn't bring in quite a few people and give them not only a check for $12,000, but give them the stage. But Texas Tech, for whatever reason, says, yeah, this woman is worth it. There are so many others out there that I think can speak better for African American History Month than this lady. But I can tell you, Tech students, they're not going to be doing their research on her. It's a shame, too, because they're just going to look at her as someone who should be celebrated in the United States. Not me.